start.
This is our good friend Ed, and he is going to talk to us about
Making sugar. That's what we call it, maple sugar.
maple sugar.
Or sugar water, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Maple syrup. So I started doing this, how many years ago did we say, Sheila?
About 10 years.
About 10 years ago. Started with 3 little taps on my back tree in my backyard. And now this year I've got 54 taps in. So, and the process
On
is
3 different properties.
on 3 different properties. So the process is we warm the sap in this pan, and then as the second pan is boiling down, we transfer the warm sap from this pan through the filter and into the concentrated pan. And then when I've got no raw sap left, no cold sap left, all I've got is concentrated, and then it becomes maple syrup. So from here I go on what's called my finishing pan, so I can finish it with propane because I have control of the heat more. And you get it down to a specific gravity, and from there I filter it, similar to this. And from filter it goes into bottle. And that's the process. So, so far, in this pan, we've got about 160 liters of sap in here, right here. So these 15-liter jugs, there's how many we have on that count, Jeff?
12.
We have 12 of those blue jugs. And see, that's the difference. That's the concentrated sap versus the raw sap. I'm filtering from my concentration pan. This is the concentrated product. Yep. And typically the ratio is the industry standard is 40 to 1. So 40 liters of sap will give you 1 liter of syrup. But around here, my trees that I'm tapping, they seem to be a higher concentration of sugar because start of the season, which I'm going to find out tomorrow when I bottle, I generally start out about 32 to 1. And then it goes from, my next boil is about 34 to 1, and then 36 or 38 to 1, which averages out to about 36, 37 to 1.
So definitely a lot of patience required for this type of process. Thank you.
Absolutely. A lot of patience, and it makes you appreciate why you pay $10 for a 500 ml bottle of syrup. Because when you see what work goes in it, and this is only a portion of the work. Tapping, collecting sap, preserving your sap, cutting the wood, splitting it, sanitizing all your equipment. When I'm done this, I have to clean everything, get it ready for my next boil. I'm not going to do a full sanitization, but I have to just clean things out, and then get it ready for the next boil when I have enough sap for my next boil. It's when I've done my last one. That involves a full day cleanup in here. In here, you're going to see in here what's a calcium buildup on my pans. You can't really see it, but you get a hard crust buildup on the bottom of the pan. Here I have an acid that I have to put in to clean that off. Without that, I could not get those clean. So it's it's a lot of work. A lot of work and a lot of patience. Yep. Because my one tree, we have 2 of our maples here right close to the house. They are sugar maples. They're the best. And there are times when I will get as much sap off of 3 taps off that one sugar in the back as I will get off of 30 taps at my friend Frank's place.
And how do you know it's a sugar?
It's just the species. When you see the species in the spring or in the leaves, when you look at the leaves on a sugar maple, the leaves where so you know on a maple leaf, they don't have a sharp cut in the leaf design. They're more of a flowed valley in peaks. So that's a sugar maple. Silver maples, the leaves are silver on the back of the leaf, green on the front. There's another one called a black maple. So the best maples are sugar maple, then I think it's a black, and then, sugar, black, and then there's a red maple, silver maple, Manitoba maple, There is a Crimson King maple. I don't know how well they are to tap. That's what we put in Bridalwood, yeah. So there are a lot of maples, yeah. The sugar is at the very top. And as you go down, you can tap all maples. You can even tap birch trees. You can tap birch trees. The problem with birch trees is it takes more syrup because there's not as much sugar. With birch trees, so maple trees, your ratio is 40-1 typically. With birch trees, I think it's like 70-1. So you need... Probably. I haven't tried it, to be honest. So what would typically take to make 40 liters to make on maple syrup, you need almost double that on birch. But birch are tappable. And not every tree, there's only a few species of trees that do this, that do the reverse osmosis essentially. Bringing the water up in the day and it drops at night. And then when the tree starts budding in the spring is when the season is done. That's it. When the tree starts budding, the maple syrup will taste strong. It'll have a very woody taste, woody flavor. So yeah. So that's when you know the season is over. Some people don't boil with a hydrometer. They don't check their density with a hydrometer. Some people will use just a thermometer. And they'll check it for temperature because maple syrup, when it becomes maple syrup, it's 2 degrees above the boiling point of water, which is 212 degrees Fahrenheit. But the boiling point of water also depends on what today's atmospheric pressure is. So today, the boiling point of water could be 212. Tomorrow, it could be 213. You have to boil maple sap 2 degrees above the boiling temperature of water. So therefore, you need to know what the boiling pressure of water is today to know what temperature to boil your syrup to. To avoid that, I use the hydrometer. It's almost a foolproof way of getting the right density. So, I don't know 100%, but I think this is a black maple. But this one I've coined Gush. Because my friend Frank and Cheryl here, they had a Great Pyrenees mountain dog, and his name was Gus.
Aww.
And Gus picked me as his owner, or as his human, I should say. And Frank even said, your Gus is human. So sadly, Gus passed away a bunch of years ago. So when I started tapping this tree, we coined this one Gush, after his dog Gus. So
Lovely.
when I empty my buckets, and when the sap is still running the way it is today, not running great today, but when the buckets have been emptied, and you have multiple buckets beside each other, you get a tick, 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 tick. So I call it the sap tap.
That's awesome. Love it.
Add some. I don't need to add it all. Just gonna make sure I got enough for the pans to leave overnight because it continues to steam off after I've left here and it's still warm. It continues to steam, and if I don't have enough, it will steam down to beyond the concentration level. We obviously don't want that to happen. Get our aluminum can in. Yep. This is, rather than having thermometer numbers, it's got just those lines, and those lines are what's called the Brix lines. So when the syrup is at the right density, when I put this in the cup, that red line has to float at the top of the syrup. When you'll see in a minute when I first start it, that red line is going to be below the surface, and that's too thin. If the hydrometer floats and goes up, the red goes above the surface of the syrup, you boil too far. Then that's when it'll crystallize. So a little pinch of this. Gone. There you go. See that? That's getting close. Put syrup. I'm gonna drop this guy right in that syrup. So we got a little bit of float. So as we go on here, that's gonna keep staying high, and eventually I'm gonna get it to where that red line is gonna be at the surface of the cup. And then we got syrup.